So when we were up in Michigan, we met the guys from Hexagon who are 3D scanning the grab handles and sightline pieces on our Bronco project to be machined out of solid billet aluminum. We had them back in the Hauk design shop today, 3D scanning the front end of our Bronco project, as well as a vintage Bronco grill. We're gonna do kind of a mashup of those two grills and come up with that nice vintage style on our modern new Bronco.
My name is Tanner Rayhauser, sales engineer for the Mid-Atlantic. I'm here at Hauk Designs to scan the front bumper of a Ford Bronco. We're going to try to reverse engineer it so that they can make it look more similar to the old retro Bronco. I brought a Absolute Arm with a AS1 blue laser scanner, and I'm going to be scanning the front bumper inside of our Recreate software, and then we're going to turn that mesh that we scanned today into a solid model for them to manipulate and use it to make the next bumper. So we have a laser scanner on the end of the arm which relates back the position of what we're scanning. By taking that data with the scanner, we're then able to manipulate it inside of Recreate with that point cloud data, create a mesh. We'd then be able to make repeatable parts that could then be sold or used on other Ford Broncos. So basically scanning is similar to spray painting a part, so we're just going to try to have full coverage of the part we're trying to scan. And by doing that, we will make sure that the blue laser is in the red box. That means it's in optimal focal. And we will just, like I said, back and forth spray painting the part. So we want to kind of attack each one of these features from an angle. And that will give us full coverage not only on the features that we're scanning directly, but also the edges to be able to get the nice crisp data in each nook and cranny. Now we have the scan complete and we have a point cloud, and we can convert the point cloud into a mesh to make it into a solid body. And from the solid body, we'd be able to turn it into CAD.
So now that we've got those 3D scans of the vintage Bronco grill, the modern and new Ford Bronco grill, we're going to take those, manipulate those files in the CAD software to draw a 3D rendering of our new Bronco grill. Once we have that finalized, we're going to have John from Lulzbot 3D print that entire grill in sections that will then be fastened together and form the prototype new front end for our Bronco.
I'm John Olhoff, president of Lulzbot 3D Printers. We make some of the world's best 3D printers when it comes to being able to get stuff done on time, fast, and actually use them for their end purpose. The number of applications is infinite, whether you're doing wire clips or if you're doing sheet metal type stuff, if you're making handles and sleeves and stuff for different tools. It's pretty infinite what you can do with a 3D printer. We're here today at Hauk Designs to kind of help Kenny and their team out with this new Bronco project. What's of a specific interest here is taking the front grille and making it a little more vintage. The new Bronco came out, it's got some hard lines and stuff that we want to take a new twist on and kind of bring back this older vintage look. Well, thanks to 3D printing, you're able to design a shape that actually fits or work directly from scans from an existing piece and incorporate all that to make something that the headlight's going to fit in nice, that it's going to look really good. If you want to do a test fit and print it a few times, make your tweaks, add stuff to it, 3D printing makes that process very easy and fast. So the Hexagon guys are also in the house on this project, and that's been really a joy working with them as far as taking their scanning technology, looking at how the original Bronco is laid out, and then taking that and further processing so that it can be 3D printed. So one of the things that we're looking at printing is an actual headlight bezel so that we can feel out just how the body line is going to match up with the new headlight. So one of the biggest things that's going to change with this front end of the project is actually changing out that headlight, and that's something that 3D printing works perfect for. After we've taken the measurements off the new Bronco grill, we can incorporate a lot of that design into making sure that our new design is good and centered, that the headlight is lined up nice, and we can 3D print a headlight bezel to check all these things before we do the final production of the grill. Those measurements we're able to actually take and bring into our CAD software here, do some digital design, mock-up, cleanup, and prepare it for 3D printing, taking considerations like 45-degree angles for supports, and produce the part we're looking to make. So now that we've designed our component, what we're going to do is export it as an STL. That's going to be something that we can bring into what they call a slicing software. In 3D printing, you build any solid object by essentially taking and slicing it into multiple layers that the machine can shift up and print. So the final step, now that we've sliced our part, is to save it to a USB. We're going to take that over to our printer, and we're going to start the print. So something unique about Lulzbot printers is we actually use our printers to make our printers. We've got roughly 300 of these machines at Lulzbot producing parts. Things like these caps, you'll find extra spool holders, the various mounts where the actual rods are going through. So this is going to be able to print this piece incredibly fast.
By having all this capability, it's going to enable us to go from concept to reality quickly, to go straight from a 3D scan to a 3D CAD model to then printing it on our Lulzbot printer. The possibilities are endless, and we're super excited to be utilizing this type of technology in the Hauk shop.
We see this ability to do mass customization as a huge area of growth for 3D printing, especially when it comes to the custom automotive world. Kenny's team is at a stage where they're ready to start making anything, and that's perfect for these one-off builds as well as larger production scale type stuff. I'm really glad that we were able to come out here and help them learn 3D printing.
Yeah, I saw some of Kenny's work online. What he does is amazing. This is something that's going to really fit well into his process and make it a little bit easier on new builds going forward. I'm really excited to see how the Bronco turns out.
It was an absolute blast having Tanner and John in the shop today, teaching us how to use this new tech, and it's going to be very exciting to see how we can incorporate it in future builds.